Hi, and welcome to The Curling Show, the podcast that brings you interviews with the sport's top athletes and the people who shape the game. Brought to you by the few remaining copies of Fit to Curl, a sports-specific guide to training for the world's greatest game by Olympic gold medalist Team Martin Third and curling.ca blogger John Morris, with some wordsmithing from me, Dean Gemmell. The programs in the book will help you feel better on the ice, make a few more shots, and brush more effectively. And it lets the reader find out a bit more about how an Olympic gold medalist approaches the game. Get a copy for yourself or for the curler on your holiday list by visiting fittocurl.com or your favorite pro shop. A New Brunswick-based entrepreneur and a contestant, or guest, or victim, or something on Dragon's Den on CBC this evening. Danny Trites, welcome to The Curling Show.
Thank you, Dean.
Well, Danny, as readers of the Curling News would already know, your appearance on Dragon's Den was recorded last May, I believe, and will air tonight at 8 o'clock on CBC, 8 o'clock Eastern, I guess. Yeah. I know you can't tell me how you fared, but give me the elevator pitch that the Dragons heard.
Well, basically, I came to see them about promoting a business we've been running for a few years called Internet Curling Club and the Curling Pro Shop. And we showed them a little bit about the sport of curling and some of the products and the different novelties that we have. And hopefully they bit into it, but it was definitely an experience of a lifetime to be in front of people like that.
You know, it seems to me that the venture capital types, of which the Dragons are supposed to be, of course, are looking for business opportunities that alter the market in a significant way or create something new. So what was different about what you're pitching?
What was different, it's something they've never seen before. A couple of them didn't even know until one of them mentioned what the thing was, because I was filling up the table with different brooms and stuff like that.
Wait, so they didn't know what curling was?
Well, I actually remember, and I believe it was Robert, said in the background, "What's this?" And Brent spoke up and said, "It's curling," because they could see, a few of the items that were coming out onto the table. So it was kind of interesting to hear them and get their take on it.
So, but then has your pitch become I'm selling curling, or what was the
My pitch was that we're need to increase the sport and show that how we can do it either through product sales or training videos or different types of things that can help the sport, because we can't get it to the grassroots people at smaller areas. Only the big centers are getting some of this training and that we need. But we need to take it everywhere and show them that.
So I'm sure their questions were probably started with numbers. How
Absolutely.
Many people, what's the audience here, right?
Yeah, and I mentioned some of the different numbers that we have, from the Curl Canada website, and how many percentage play the sport and what age groups and so on. And really, it's a great demographic. And from an advertising standpoint, it's excellent. And we've seen a few advertisers bite into that in the last few years. So
did they buy into this notion that it's a good demographic?
They definitely bought in that it's a good demographic.
They did buy into that?
Yeah.
All right. But although these, definitely intelligent group of business people, some of them didn't know what curling was. Frustrating.
Well, and, it is. And hopefully, in the next few years, especially with the Olympics, the way it's been going and the different media events that are coming and the sponsors that are really helping us out with those, will bring it more forefront.
Did they ask anything about, how else? I mean, did they ask anything like, well, here's, did they ask, could a curling facility be a money-making venture?
No, actually, they didn't really get into that. And there is several facilities that would show them that they can make very good money on them. And a few of them are taking those advantages and, helping or doing different things, such as training or bringing in events or stuff like that. And really, it's a growing sport.
But you are there really privately? I mean, I'm interested in this because, and I'm talking to you as a business. You're a business guy. You're in the business end of the sport. But one of my big conundrums, one of the big conundrums I see for curling is that, sure, there are curling clubs that are financially successful and financially viable, but most of those most of that's done on the backs of volunteers at the club, maybe with a few employees. I haven't seen a model yet and I think it's a big hurdle for our sport. I haven't seen a model yet where, Danny Trites can open a curling club or a curling facility and turn a reasonable profit every year.
And it has to be in certain areas. It has to be the right areas. And, I'll use the Maritimes, for example. There's one of the clubs that's made significant changes in the last few years in the way it's operated. They've actually hired professionals to run the club, do marketing, and so on. And they're looking at different aspects. And that club is really growing. The membership's up, revenues are up, there's money in the bank. And, it's definitely a way to look at it. And, we have to be honest, it's a low-cost sport to be into for a participant. I love that I can equip my kids for less than $200 and get them on the curling ice and, enjoy it. It's an amazing thing.
But is that a good thing or a bad thing from a business point of view? I mean, I think we've marketed it as a low-cost sport for eons, and sometimes I think that, kind of bites us in the butt.
Oh, it does, definitely. But, we have to show the people that, it's not just for these rich toddy people like golf and stuff have been for years. It's open to the masses. And,
well, that's true. And that's a great, curling's a great equalizer in that respect. It's a great, there's no better equalizer across all stratas of society, I think, than curling.
And, you got to love, I hate to mention one sponsor, but you got to love things like Capital One, what they've done to bring curling to the smaller schools with the ring program, and things like that. And seeing sponsors step up and really do it is what's going to happen over the next few years to make the sport really jump out.
So on Dragon's Den, what did you tell this group? What did you tell them that you would do with their money?
Well, I told them that it's mainly for marketing and distribution. Our biggest hurdle that we have is sometimes getting the information to the people. And we had a couple products that we've been slow on bringing out just because we know we're going to be overwhelmed with some of the things. And really, we want to get them to buy into some of those ideas that we were talking about.
So what products are those?
Such as video training, bringing coaching and that to smaller areas. Not necessarily moving the coaches there, but with the age of the internet now, a coach can be right next to the players all through video and different forms like that. Getting people such as myself to help out these clubs on a high-end administrative level and getting them information, and it can all be done through the phone or through the internet. And, these were the different offerings that we had talked about that Internet Curling Club and the Curling Pro Shop is moving towards in the next few years.
So Internet Curling Club would be more of these sort of, video-based coaching and things like that. I mean, I can understand the Curling Pro Shop. It looks like an online site for curling equipment and apparel.
And the Internet Curling Club's always been the idea of just like you would walk into a curling club. When you walk in, what do you see? There's lockers downstairs, there's ice over there, there's a canteen, a lounge, videos, that kind of stuff. So it's always been that where we can get the training to different levels of people, get videos out there, get information on curling, what's a hack, and what's this, and, doing it for the customers at, no cost most of the time. And offering this year is one of our big things is we're going to offer free websites to all the curling clubs in Canada to start with, but we're branching out to the U.S. as well.
But isn't Capital One offers the same sort of program, right? Free websites for curling clubs?
Yeah, and that's the one of the product offerings that we're bringing forward with, such as Capital One. So.
All right, Danny, I know all entrepreneurs have a slightly hyperbolic side, myself included. But are you really the leading internet distributor of curling products, and have you really sold over 5,000 foam curling hats?
Yeah, between myself and Kier, who owns the Curling Hat Company that manufactures them in the U.S., he has sold over 5,000 units in the last year. And he had actually trouble keeping up with some of the sales that happened because of the Olympics and that last year. And to be the number one retailer, we do not know, and we have nobody else that is doing the volumes of purchasing from the suppliers that we are as a group, and definitely selling to the different areas in the world that we have been selling, Russia and Latvia and England and so on. It's pretty interesting to see people buy from different areas like that.
But it's still not. It's a bit of a guess, right? I mean, surely like.
No, it's very easy to calculate because when we talk to our top 3 suppliers, we are the top purchaser from those top 3 suppliers of curling products.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Well, enough about these companies for a moment, Danny. I don't have a ton of guests on the show from the Maritimes. And on the competitive side, outside of Gushu, there seems to be a bit of a vacuum in the East, especially now that whether Gushu's from the Maritimes or Newfoundland, I'll leave that to the Easterners to decide. But especially now that Sean Adams and Mark Dacey don't seem to be playing big schedules, and there's a dearth of major cash events in the East. Seems to be a bit of a vacuum in the competitive side. Since you're a guy who seems to be involved in the game at many different levels, including the grassroots, what's the state of the game out there?
As usual, we have some amazing curlers in the Maritimes, and we include Newfoundland in that area for sure. And, I believe, as you're going to see, that it's more of a revamp year out here. A few teams have made some changes and moved some players around to different areas and so on. And, we're definitely very high quality. We see some of the teams that have come out of here and achieved amazing things from the Maritimes. And we're going to see that over the next couple of years for sure again. Well,
yeah, I know there are great curlers out there. I think, the hurdle for them, of course, is travel costs to get west. And
that's it.
I guess what's funny is that, there used to be, the McCain Super Spiel out east, and there's a lack of that kind of big event that gets curlers out there right now. And Don Bartlett Classic in Gander ended, and I guess that's a tough thing to do. You need somebody who's going to organize that and get some sponsors behind it.
And that's the thing, it's sometimes about the sponsors and the volunteers to get these things going. They don't just run themselves, as you know for sure.
Right. All right, Danny, is there anything you want to add about the broadcast tonight or future plans for your company? The broadcast is at 8 o'clock Eastern Time on CBC. Are you the how many guests do they have on tonight? Is it you and do you know who else?
They usually have 3 or 4.
Right.
I've been told there's also a soap company from the New Brunswick area, so hopefully it's a New Brunswick show this evening. But it was definitely a great experience, and hopefully it brings curling to the forefront again a little bit, and that's what we need to do to grow our sport, is just keep putting it out there and showing people what an amazing sport it is.
Were the personalities of the Dragons off camera similar to their on camera personalities?
I believe they're exactly the way you see them on the show. One of the reporters quoted me as saying, "Kevin's Kevin." What you see is what you get, which is appreciative, but he's also a tough-nosed person. So.
Yeah, none of them suffer fools gladly, that's for sure, I guess. And
no, absolutely.
Of course, some of them are fools for not knowing what curling is as well, so I'll throw that back at them. I can't believe someone's from Canada and doesn't know what curling is.
Well, he does come from overseas and brought into Canada for other reasons, but, we won't hold it against Robert. So.
Gosh, there's people, you only have to spend a bit of time in Canada to know what it's about. Anyways, I'm going to hold it against Robert. He can call me and be on the show if he wants.
That'd be perfect.
Yeah. All right, Danny, we finished with a run back. I give you a topic. You give me your thoughts in 1 to 3 words.
Okay.
Charlie Sullivan's New Brunswick team at 5-2 at the Canadian Mixed in beautiful Morris, Manitoba.
An amazing curler with lots of potential. I guess that wasn't 5 words. Sorry.
That's all right. Nobody's 5. Very few people get it 1 to 3, but and I don't really worry about it too much. Charlie's a funny guy. I mean, there they were. He played with his cousin, I guess, right? Jim's his cousin, and they had, lose a 91 Brier final to Ted Wernick, and then since then I've never really found the magic formula.
I should have gave you Charlie as one of the top coaches as far as I'm concerned in the sport.
Oh yeah, who does he coach?
I couldn't tell you who he is now. Charlie's a level 3. They put on some big clinics, and he's helped some big teams over the years.
All right. James Grattan helping David Murdoch to an 0-5 finish at the Grey Power World Cup of Curling.
Jimmy the Kid, always one of the best from the Maritimes.
He is. I think David's got some problems with his team that weren't related to James. But a Scotties Tournament of Hearts in Charlottetown?
Yes.
Yes.
Good to see it back in the Maritimes. It's going to be a rocking good time.
Yeah, I think that I think the East is a great place for the Scotties. Actually, yes. The possibly record-setting GM IPO.
Wow, what can I say?
You going to buy in?
Yes.
You are.
Yeah.
You're in. Going to hold it, or are you going to get out of it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's one of those things I play, and we'll see. At the end of the day, if we make a good move or a bad move. So.
The engagement of Prince William and Kate Middleton.
Now you're getting way out of my topics.
That's the goal with the run back. We start with where you're in your comfort zone, and then we get out to here.
Now I'm going to tell you I don't watch the fluffy news sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm not a big fan of the Royals either, but there you go. Russ Howard's thoughts on the quality of the ice at Maritime clubs?
Russ sometimes speaks the truth, but he's very bold and open.
Yeah, he's been awfully critical of it over the years, and I think for good reason. He seems to believe it's holding back competitive curlers out there. But Russ is also a guy who's got issues with rocks and ice wherever he plays. So
yeah, great fella, and definitely we do need to improve ice. But it goes back to funds and getting the clubs growing up a little bit.
Right. I guess when you throw it like Russ and Glenn Howard so pure that then you see all the flaws in rocks and ice that some of us don't.
If you can't pick your delivery apart, you got to find something else. Right?
Yeah, and finally, curling and crapo. Have you curled in crapo?
Yeah, many fun spiels, and I remember the potato ones.
Really? Crapo. Yeah. All right. I got to get out there sometime. The people in crapo, I hope they don't. I'm not trying to make fun of them. I just, I love the fact that there's a crapo curling club, but hopefully not with crapo ice.
Absolutely not.
All right, Danny. I usually let the players mention their sponsors. If there's anything you want to mention before we go, this is your chance.
No, just like to thank to all our distributors, Nasham, Performance, Balance Plus, and all the other ones. You guys have been great helps over the years.
All right, Danny, good luck with everything. I look forward to catching the show tonight, and I'm sure other people will. And good for you for pushing curling, selling curling. Like you said, we got to get it out there, and we need people who can get out there and sell the game.
Thanks, Dean. You have a great day.
That's Danny Trites on The Curling Show, a conversation that was recorded just a few hours before the broadcast of his appearance on Dragon's Den on CBC Television. Get yourself in curling shape this winter by following the programs in Fit to Curl, the first book on curling-specific training by Olympic gold medalist Team Martin III and curling.ca blogger John Morris. Available at fittocurl.com and at Better Curling Pro Shops. Thanks for listening. Enjoy some pudding.